If I'm on there, good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope somebody makes it on. I really screwed up this morning. I screwed up all the way around. I got all my times wrong after going over them twice. Turn myself off there now. Hey, good morning, Mikey. You found me. I wasn't sure if anybody would or not. I had everything so messed up. How are you? I forget. Is your turn or Mark's turn to bring the donut? Mike, I've noticed something about this, and we probably ought to get this looked into seriously. I'm beginning to worry that donuts may be causing you some mental acuity issues. You seem to be getting that mixed up a lot. I mean, everybody knows it's your turn to bring them, but you always still think it's me or Mark. I reckon why that is. We're doing well so far. It's cold outside here. Got a little bit of snow. Morning, Carol. Sorry about the mix up. I don't know if anybody will make it in or not. Some people may have looked and said, "Oh, he's not going to be on." And then when I got it back on, I still screwed it up because I made the time wrong. But I also learned a lesson. StreamYard has a new thing where you can reuse the studio. And if you do that, you don't have to send out the studio address to like Mark. I send Mark every week so he can be on. And so I was giving that a try. And I got in there and then this morning realized I had the times all wrong. So I tried to fix it and I couldn't fix it. I'm the last one to come to a party and the last one to leave once all the food is gone. What does that mean, Mike? What do you think? What do you think that means? Mike, I got up this morning to 23. I don't know I'm sure you're much colder, but I didn't know it was going to get to 23 here. I was surprised, but it was kind of interesting. Oh, good morning, Kay. I don't know how you slip in there between people and I don't see you. I hope you're well. How cold is it in South Carolina? And before you say, I heard one temperature already this morning. So while I was doing something. And Mike, you're welcome to tell me how cold it is up there in Celsius, and I'll convert if you need me to. So, Kay, who is Clemson playing today? Is this South Carolina versus Clemson end of the season rivalry game, or is this one just is? What am I trying to say? Or is this just not a big deal? It's 38 now. I think it was 27. Wow. Yeah, it was 23 here. I heard it was 27. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what that means, Tim. Don't steal my ideas. Got you, Mike. Sorry. No, I was looking up temperature. I was going to look up temperature. And Mike got me plumb distracted there. I act all big and brave and everything, but actually I'm scared to death of him. Yeah, I thought they did. Tennessee plays Vanderbilt, which doesn't sound like anything now, but back in the old days, that was a big rivalry, huge rivalry, in Tennessee and Vanderbilt. -20 so far for this morning. Not sure if the temperature is going to drop even more. Whew. -20. Well, Mike, all I got to say about that is when you're ready to warm up, buddy, just come see us. Because right now, even my -30, or not minus, I got 31 right now from the airport up here. 31 doesn't sound so cold. So come on up. And I'm going to guess since it was -20, that's Fahrenheit. I think Clemson and USC will always. Yeah, well, it should be. I mean, that's rivalries are what college football is all about. I think. -20 or the balmy 22 there. Well, I almost had you, Carol. When I got up, it was 23. Or when I looked at the temperature first on the NOAA weather radar app. We've got the big Ohio game. Yes, you do. Oh, you're at noon also. Dang. Tennessee plays Vandy at noon. I was hoping I'd get to watch at least one or two of these other games. I hope they're not all early. It's a balmy 32. Well, you're warmer than I am right now, Tina. At Palmetto Bowl. Okay. Well, I have a question for anybody else who's a college football person, and maybe there's not any. Hang on a minute, folks. I got to fix something. Or try to. All right, I'm going to step off out of studio, offline. I'm not offline. I'm going to step off the screen for a minute, but I'm not leaving. I'm just trying to figure something out. Bear with me. Okay, I'm back. No, I thought I died and stopped there for a minute. Literally, I wasn't moving. Yep, but Watertown is getting 2 to 3 feet. Well, now that was my next question, Tina, because last night I was on. I was just watching Josh and Jenna's show, or listening to it, or something at some point yesterday, or yesterday evening, and somebody, I don't have no idea who it was, posted on the screen. I think it was one of their moderators though, or maybe it was a member. That they had at that time, which was about 7-ish, maybe 7:30 Eastern, they had received 2 feet of snow and were expecting 3 to 4 more feet. So I said, "Where in the world are you at?" And then they actually answered, and they said Western New York. So I was wondering if you were getting that too, and if you were supposed to get that much, Tina. And we only have a couple inches of snow so far, which I'm kind of grateful for right now. I wondered about that, Mike, but I was wondering. I'm guessing that this is a big lake effect event. Carol, does that affect you guys? Do you get lake effect off of Michigan, or yeah, it'd be Lake Michigan? Hey everyone, I just wanted to say I hope y'all had a lovely Thanksgiving with your families and friends. Well, thank you, Mike. I hope you had a nice day too. I hope that doesn't mean you're getting ready to leave. Oh wow, you guys aren't getting any of that? How far is Watertown from you? Is that fairly close? Nope. Well, I read that already. Yes, Lake Effect from Lake Erie. I thought that's, well, I assumed that's what you got, what was happening since it was such a big snow. But I thought it was, I heard 2 to 3 feet, and I thought, you got to be kidding me. So I'm guessing she probably wasn't kidding. No lake effect there, Carol says. They get that on the. They do get it on the mid lake. I didn't know if it would come across the peninsula and get you. I mean, to me, it seems like a weather event of that level. I thought it would cross over. To be honest, I thought it could cross that much of a 2 hours north. So 2 hours north of you, they're getting hammered. 2 hours south of you, they're getting hammered. They may get it near Lake Huron, but I'm not sure. I guess you're right. I didn't think, I don't know how many states are involved in lake effect snow. Lake Huron, I would think Lake Huron would produce some too. If it did, that'd be in upper Pennsylvania and southern corner of New York. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Tina, but I wasn't sure if it would go across, if it would go from Michigan across the peninsula over to the other side of Michigan or not. Man, my hair is not. I brushed my hair this morning, and I'm not sure you can tell it over here. Oh, hadn't seen Brenda. Was anybody else? She wasn't sure she was going to make it. She didn't. She was just barely waking up this morning. And I don't know if Mark will be here or not. Last time he and I talked, he wasn't sure. And I honestly haven't talked to him since. So that was Monday, I think. So I don't know. And he's not here yet. So usually he'd be here by now. Unless he saw unless I sent him the wrong link. Well, Mike, back to your question, your Thanksgiving treat. Thank you very much for that. I'm sorry, I apologize. I got tied up with something else here. And it's nice of you to ask. We went down to our daughter's in-laws, Kelly's in-laws, and they live just west of here, about half hour. Less than that. It didn't seem like it took us any time to get there. 15 minutes, so probably not that. I was trying to think how many miles they're less than 10 miles from here. Nope, I'm here for a while yet. While you guys celebrate Thanksgiving, I celebrate it too with a donut. Oh, that's great. Mike, was that a turkey flavored donut by any chance? To be appropriate, it would have to be, you'd need to have a turkey flavored donut, maybe mashed taters and gravy flavored donut, and then a pumpkin pie. I have you on the TV, Tim. This is the first time I've watched you TV. Oh, well, good morning, Carol. I hope it's not too detailed. You might not like it. Sometimes if I'm like, I don't know why I felt the need to say that. Carol, you said something you said about being. Oh, I watch YouTube on TV at night a lot if I'm going to bed and I just have something on, or sometimes Josh's streams are pretty mellow. I want to do Disney stuff, and it's kind of weird not I don't know, not being where I can talk to people. Because I can't, I don't know if there's a way or not, but I can't figure it out the way to type a message on a TV. Tina, this might be the first, you brought up a really good point. This might be the first Thanksgiving that I can remember, and I'm talking about way back, maybe since I first realized how good food was, that I didn't overeat. That I don't feel like I didn't eat that much. We were at someone else's house, and their food was good. It just wasn't what I'm used to, partly. And for the last several months, I've had trouble with taste. Nothing seems to taste right to me. So when I go eat somebody else's food, then it's a real drastic change, and I don't know. It just the same. That's the same thing with going out and getting something to eat. Good luck, Mike. Trying to get my wife to come out from wherever she's hiding. Thanks though for the effort. I thought she was going to stay up, and I told her to stay up, be on the show, and then she could take a nap while I watch football this afternoon. Apparently, she didn't do that. And I agreed, Mike. I love leftovers for the most part. I do get tired of them after a while. Well, that depends on what it is. Actually, thinking about leftover foods, there's certain foods that are just almost better leftover. For example, chili. I love warmed up chili. A lot of soups and stews are usually at least it's just as good, if not better, leftover. But then there's some other things that I'm not so keen on. Case my family went out of town. I'm so mixed up today. I went out of town for the holiday. I went to Fresh Market and got a meal for it. It was good. Had leftovers last night. Cool, Kay. Sometimes that's the best kind of Thanksgiving. That's when you freeze them and have them a few months later. Well, that's true, Tina. And then Mike said, no, sorry, Tim, I had an old fashioned plain that day. Well, that's too bad, Mike. I would think you could test them. If I ever find turkey donuts, I'm going to send them to you to test, okay? That's right, Carol. Tasty food, no messy kitchen. I mean, that's hard to beat. I'll have to admit, when you put it that way, takeout food's usually not such a bad deal. Oh. Oh, excuse me. I started to say I went to bed early last night, but that wouldn't be entirely true. Because I ended up sitting up and watching that Georgia football game. We can talk football some today. I hope you guys don't mind too much, but the Georgia game went into 8 overtimes. So I was up later. I kept telling Brenda, it'll be over just in a minute. And she kept saying, don't say that again. Just don't say it again. Well, needless to say, Brenda and I didn't get to watch any special TV last night. She went on to bed. That's usually how ours looks, Tina. But we didn't. We weren't asked to take anything. It was really nice. They fixed everything. Just added an extra setting for us, I guess. Don't mind talking about football. 8 overtimes. Yes, they went into 8 overtimes. And get this: the college football record for overtimes is 9. and I can't remember who that was. Maybe it'll pop in my head, or I'll look it up in a minute. But they went into 8 overtimes. Now, that's not as bad as it used to be. It sounds bad, and it did take a while. But, they used to run full quarters, and you'd play back and forth and more. But now they do one possession where they both get the ball, and if they score, they can kick a field goal. Then they go again, and if you score, you have to go for 2 points. Point after, so that sometimes that makes a difference. But after, if it's still tied, after that they just start swapping ends of the field every kick, which I thought was ridiculous. Not kick, and they just basically run. They could have called it a touchdown, but they called it a 2-point try, and that's all you do the rest of the game. So the first team to get ahead by 2 points wins, basically. And Georgia's kicker managed to get one, and the other kicker had I think that's the one where I think that there was a couple of bad kicks last night, so I may get them mixed up. But I think the one that cost him the game was the one that the guy had a bad snap and dropped the ball. Anyway, kick was no good. We had friends come over. None of them ate any of the turkey. 2 16-pound turkeys, and it's just Chuck and I eating it. Well, you're going to have turkey for days to come, I'm guessing. They do have the dogs, some in there. Well, yeah, there you go. I still had to cook, but it was just enough for 2 people. Turkey, gravy, rice, green beans, and sweet potatoes. Guys, I'll warn you now, I think Mike's hungry. He's right now everything sounds good to him, I've noticed. Every time somebody mentions food, he jumps on it. So just beware. What I'm getting at is if you offer him anything, get your hand back quick, because he might take off a couple of fingers. Oh, what did I? I'm losing track here. I got to catch up. He can come eat some. There you go, Mike. Tina sounds to me like she's got plenty of turkey. I just thought I would throw this suggestion out there to everybody. If you would like to invite me over for dinner one Thanksgiving, I'm able to do the dishes. Oh, well, Mike. Now that might, but you got to get here on your own expense, right? Well, Mike, I know you guys have a Thanksgiving. I know it wasn't about a month ago. So in Canada, is there a particular, down here, Thanksgiving gets associated primarily with turkeys, for turkey dinners, but I know a lot of people have other things, especially nowadays. But what about, do you guys have a special plate or meal or deal that people have for Canadian Thanksgiving? Tina, you might as well. He's gonna find a way to get into them dishes. Mike, if you worked it out right, you could probably do a short tour of the country and get Thanksgiving dinners and leftover Thanksgiving dinners, or just Thanksgiving dinners served on a different day. My daughter calls that friends. They have a big Friendsgiving Yeah, they have. In fact, they have a much bigger celebration without Brenda now. They do a friendsgiving every year at their house, and they have, you know, 20, 30 people there, I think. But mom and dad are never invited, of course. Somehow that doesn't really bother me. I don't find that I feel put upon for that by that or anything. I think I'm better off. Mike, I'm like Tina. You come over and have dinner with us, you won't have to do anything, buddy. Just sit there and talk about baking donuts. Man, I know one thing. You're killing me talking about making me want a donut bad. Ugh. Sorry, guys, my hip's hurting this morning. It hurt yesterday. I thought it'd be better this morning. I'm kind of hoping Mark contacts me right now. Nope. Tell you what, since Friday, I have been bombarded by ads. I mean, for everything from that was one from the knife shop down at Sevierville. You know, it's supposed to be the world's biggest knife shop. It's a whopper. I know that. I just got an ad from them. I got an ad from a place called Revenant that makes sunglass lens replacement lenses. Well, you got a 2-week reprieve from the political ad, so you can get shopping at. Yeah, but you know what? The political ads haven't slowed down a whole hell of a lot. Yeah, I got at least 10 to 15 things yesterday for sales. In fact, I've still got several of them I haven't erased yet. I guess I'm trying to decide if I need them for anything for Christmas. I don't know. Did anybody else in here by any chance watch any of that Georgia game? They were at billing that as interesting. I thought, even though I know this is I've probably known this for a long time or thought this myself. Last night they were talking about rivalry games and how the one in Georgia is based on good old fashioned hate. They hate each other. The teams literally hate each other, and so the games are always really hard. And last night's game was definitely hard. I mean, they worked on each other hard. That the quarterback for Georgia Tech was really impressive young man. He could throw the ball and run the ball. He was a big, tall kid, and but when the game was over, I swear it looked like he could barely hold himself up, and his uniform just looked like it had been absolutely run under a backhoe or something. I mean, they did. It was just absolutely covered in stains and whatever else you can get on the fields there. And I don't I was trying to remember if it was real dirt. It seemed like he had green stains on, but it wasn't. I'm pretty sure it was artificial turf. Anyway, he looked beat. That's true, Kay. They tend to be. The reason I thought of that was the oh hell, Tim, come on, Carroll's game today, Michigan versus Ohio State. That's a interstate rivalry. I believe I said that right. And they're not. It's different, and that's one of the oldest rivalries I think in the country. I can't remember how many times they've played. Yesterday they said Georgia and Georgia Tech have played 118 times. They missed some games. I guess during the World Wars, both of them, I think, and I believe they've said they missed some games during COVID, I think, or missed this game. And but other than that, they've been beating each other over the head with big sticks for a long time. Oh, UPS delivery, that's exciting, Carol. Diana said, I hear turkey. He was inviting me for left. Well, now you got me. I'm a little ashamed, Diana. Brenda and I can't invite you over for leftovers. We don't have any. So I'll tell you what we would do. If you might come down, say, for next week, this week, because this just so happens Brenda and I are off every day, we'll cook a new dinner. We'll cook turkey dinner all over for you guys. Come on down. Now, I missed something with Kay. Let's see. State rivalries. That's not it. I got nothing. Oh, FedEx just dropped off. UPS is next. Oh. No Michigan versus Ohio State in 2020 because of our team had COVID. I'll have to look that up. Okay, I'm going to look that up. The oldest college football rivalry is Yale versus Princeton. I thought it was a couple of those schools. I couldn't remember which ones. Which has been played since 1873. Yeah, they said Georgia Tech started in I believe the 1890s, maybe 80s. Yale and Princeton were both dominant teams in the early days of college football, with Yale winning 13 national titles and Princeton winning 8 between 1869 and 1894. The game played by Harvard versus Yale. That's another old one since 1875. The Iron Bowl. That's what I was getting ready to ask if anybody. I didn't hear anything about the Iron Bowl, and today they were saying that. No, you know what? I'm getting Georgia mixed up. It's not Georgia in the Iron Bowl. It's the two Alabama teams, so they probably are playing today. So the Iron Bowl dates back to 1893, and it's named after the state's history in iron and steel, which doesn't say a thing about what state they're talking about. It's Alabama. The big game, which is Cal versus Stanford, been played since 1892. The big game. The Territorial Cup, Arizona versus Arizona State. That's cool. The Victory Bell, Cincinnati versus Miami of Ohio. The South's oldest rivalry, North Carolina at Chapel Hill versus University of Virginia. There's another interstate one. 2020 interrupted the Palmetto Bowl, ending its run as the longest continuous non-conference rivalry in the nation. The second longest continuous rivalry in Division I college football, and the longest That cut you off, okay? Oh, Deep South's oldest rivalry, Auburn versus University of Georgia. That's interesting. Deep South's oldest rivalry is Auburn versus Georgia, University of Georgia. South's oldest rivalry, not the Deep South, just the South, is Carolinas and Virginia. The Capital Cup is the College of William and Mary versus University of Richmond. I-85 rivalry is Wofford College versus Furman University since 1889. How about that? Oh my, here's one called 100 Miles of Hate. It's Middle Tennessee State versus Western Kentucky. Now I live down there and I never heard that. In fact, I think I went to a game once. It's the unofficial nickname given to the American college football rivalry game between Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders football team and Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. That's that funny. Like I said, I live down there, and I don't remember ever hearing that. I found a list. It says it's all the bowl, supposed to be all the different bowl game rivalry. Excuse me. All this says. This is about bowls. Anyway. And there's the Air Force in Colorado State. That's not, they've only been playing since 1957. I was going to say that can't be too old because the Air Force Academy's not been around that long. $73-43-4. Tim, we get back on chat here. We know where you live. We'll show up. Oh yes, I do know. I'm serious. Mike, you let us know if you let us know it at least one day ahead so we can go buy out everything. And Brenda and I'll make sure Brenda gets up bright and early and cooks dinner for you and you and Diana and Alexander too. Unless he's starting to become competition, he's about the right age. Well, I know I was an empty or had a hollow leg when I was his age, as they said down here. So, Mike, come on down, buddy. I'd love to see you guys pull in the driveway. Any of you. Our door is always open. But if you want to get fed, you might want to call it. Just make sure we got something to eat. Now, you're always welcome to share food with the cat, but I'm not so sure Teddy would appreciate that. Oh, excuse me. My eyes are just gummy this morning. Guys, I couldn't come up with a topic for today. That's why I didn't have anything. So I'm serious. If you guys have anything you'd like to talk about on a Saturday morning, let me know. Oh, look at this. I got this. Yes, I got this Thursday. I don't know if I can get it where you can see it decent or not. It's actually very heavy. This is my latest auction acquisitions. This painting. And I don't know if you can see it, but it has Native American spiritual kind of connotation. I got that in. I was amazed at how well it was framed, and I mean that's not just a cheap picture frame like a poster frame. That thing's heavy duty. Thank you, Tina. That wrist reminded me when I started to lift. Although it is getting, I think it's getting better. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't, I said that now it's hurting. I can feel it. I can feel the broken bones, I think, on both sides, the ones that are broken or the ones that did break. And I guess I should hope they're mending, because if they're not, surgery. Generally speaking, I am moving better. My shoulder is not. I still can't lift, but it's not as sore as it was. It there for, geez, for a couple of weeks there. It just throbbed constantly. If Brenda was here, I'd brag about the coffee a little bit. I think we finally got it back kind of where I like it. Again, taste bud issues. Okay, so I'm a salt eater. And I say that willingly and openly. And I have to come into a table with a salt, what do they call them? Anyway, salt container, salt. Oh, what did they used to call them? The girls sell them all the time, or have sold them. The things you put salt in back years ago, and then you scraped it, broke it off, ground it, whatever at the table. Anyway, I've always eaten too much salt, I'm sure, and I tend to salt things even after other people have salted them, and stuff that Brenda has thought for years has been way too salty. I think it's normal. So that's just how my taste buds run and how I've run. And honestly, I can't say, well, it probably hadn't helped blood pressure, but here's where I was getting at the point here. For the last, I don't know, month and a half, since before this injury, salt has gotten to where I'm super sensitive to it now. So any extra amount of salt just knocks my socks off. Hi, Tina. That's a man after my own heart there. Well, yeah, I love salty bacon. Oh my God. But anyway, the last little bit, I can't. And there's other things I'm like that with. Nothing seems to be tasting the same. And some things don't taste good. And I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know if I'm taking something. I'm taking some different I don't want to say nerve pills, because that gives a connotation of something else, but I'm taking something to help with my spasms, my leg spasms and pain. It's not a pain pill. I mean, but it does do something with the nerves. I can't remember how it works. So neurological pain pill or pill. And I changed those, so maybe that's it. Maybe, I don't know. My husband salt's ham drives me crazy. Oh, see, Carol, I knew I liked Danny. There's another man after my own heart. Tell you what, guys, Chuck, Danny, me, um, maybe Mike. I don't know. I don't know if Mike's weighed in or not, but um, we'll just start ourselves a salt lovers, and to carry on the tradition of Alfalfa and Spanky, our gang. We'll call it the He-Men's Salt Lovers and Women Haters Club or something. Because theirs was the He-Man Woman Haters Club. But we'll have to work the salt in there somehow. Yeah, that's what that's what I think too. I'm I'm about ready to just stop taking everything and go back to what it used to be because I don't. I've always loved food, and I'm not enjoying food these days. I'm not. I can't think of anything around here, at least, that sounds good. Oh, geez, Carol. Chuck says he probably does. He just reminded me that he salts pizza. I wish Brenda was here to hear this. She could get in on this commiseration of wives against husbands who salt. Hey, we get that on one of those daytime shows. I can't like Jerry Springer, or Maury Povich or somebody. Wives whose husbands love salt. When we finally all get together, we'll make a nice meal for everyone and put a couple of salt licks out for the man. I've been known to. I'm going to confess this now in public. I've been known to lick salt, just out of the palm of my hand. Yeah, Dr. Phil, we'll get him to analyze it, Tina. Yeah, I've been known just to empty salt in my hand out of the shaker and just, lick it up from there. So that's kind of a salt lick. Even my mom salted everything, but it's pretty much a salt or two. But she used to fuss at me for salting everything. Men who salt too much, and the women. There you go. Now, Carol, that makes it sound just a little bit like maybe you've watched the show. Men who salt too much, and the women who love them. I love that. I should have thought that as a title. That'd make such a good show title. Now that I know there's 3 or 4 women in the room who could discuss that topic with experience. Oh, me. Oh. At one point, I was trying to come up with a Thanksgiving topic, and I did come up with one idea, and I'm going at risk of being turned away from YouTube for showing somebody else's web page. And if it looks like I'm crazy, it's because my eyes are bouncing between screens here for a second. So I just thought I'd start off with something. I didn't want, we could talk about food all the time or anytime, and still talk about Thanksgiving dinner, which we've been doing. But I thought I'd look at some other things. do it here. So I thought about parades. My dad used to salt his food before he tasted it. Somewhere in the 40s, he stopped eating a lot of salt. Wow. And that's what everybody always accused me of. But when when you're at home, there are certain foods that aren't going to be salty or not enough to my taste. And so I mean, there were always things you got used to doing that with. There are some things my mom didn't salt when she cooked it, like, oh wait, I'm gonna have to really think about that. now that I've said it out loud and listened to it, heard myself say it, I'm not sure that's true. She might have salted everything too. Anyway, so I thought about this came out of an article from who did put this out? VisitTheUSA.com, and it was called Seven Great Thanksgiving Parades in the US of A. Somebody's got a tractor out there. Hopefully they're not digging at my yard. So anyway, I just thought I'd put this up here as a kind of a general idea, and I can't move that. Here we go. And the first one they had listed there was Macy's. Of course, most people know Macy's from their balloons. They've been famous for that. They're not the only. They're not the only big parade in the country that uses balloons, but I guess I don't know, were they the first one? They've been doing it since 1924. Maybe they're the most consistent one. Anyway, they're at least the most famous one because they're on TV every year. Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I will have to say that I saw something on the TV before the parade started, like a like a pregame show, and they were showing, talking about the workers putting the floats together and all the balloons together. And I think they probably work hard, work all night and do that kind of stuff. But I don't think, compared to the Rose Parade people that build those floats, blowing up a balloon ain't nothing. Where does the Detroit parade come? I got it. I think I've got it. It's America's parade, and it's coming up just in a minute, Carol. I don't know if these are ranked, but this is how they got them in here. There's a Dunkin' Donuts parade. I did not know that. That's in Philadelphia. Didn't even know that's where Dunkin' came from. I'm assuming that's why. Let's see. It's 1920. That's impressive. The city of brotherly love has welcomed the holiday season with floats, marching bands, chairs, and choirs and other. I thought chairs. Why would they have chairs? Choirs and other performers. This is the oldest Thanksgiving parade in the country. Oh, so Philadelphia actually is older than Macy's. And this is the oldest Thanksgiving held in the morning. It begins blah blah blah. Anyway, so there's something I didn't know. The Dunkin' Donuts Thanksgiving Day Parade is the oldest parade. I wonder. I'm surprised they don't get more attention for that. What do they got next? America's Thanksgiving Parade. Is it? Yeah, this is Detroit. Carol. Morning, Dave. A donut parade? We know where Mike is going next year. Well, we sure do. Dunkin' originated in New England. Well, that's what I thought, Tina. I missed something here that Kay said. Doctor told my dad if my mom wanted to kill him, let him have the salt. He stopped that day. That's your parade right there. Have you ever been to that parade, Carol? I thought you were all my friends. Nobody shared this information with me about the Donuts parade. Where's the man? Well, am I? What? I'm sorry. I apologize. It was a conscious effort. We all got together and said we might not tell Mike about the donut parade because he's going to feel hurt and put down, and put off because nobody's ever invited him to it, even though we never knew about it. So, Mike, I'm sorry. I apologize, buddy. It wasn't a lack of being a friend. I just didn't want to, I just didn't want to hurt your feelings. The HEB Thanksgiving Parade. This is in Houston, Texas. Again, I'd never heard of this one. And again, they've got live entertainment, giant balloons, marching bands. All sounds like all the same kind of stuff Macy and the Duncan Parade have. Oh well, I didn't read all that about America's Thanksgiving Parade. It's in Detroit. Started the same year as Macy's. It may not be as big, may not be as famous, but it has similarly strong traditions. Floats, marching bands, and large balloons travel down historic Woodward Avenue, beginning at the Kirby Street intersection and concluding at Congress Street. And I thought that was I guess that's Mother Goose, I guess. That's a big old float there now. And it's a float, not a balloon. So I'm not sure I ever figured out what HEB stood for. And it doesn't say. I said they get a couple 100,000 people there along the route. And it doesn't say what HEB. Anybody know what HEB stands for? So, Dave, what's up, buddy? What are you folks into? I hope you've had a happy and joyful Thanksgiving. Thank you, Mike. That's so generous of you. And we'll make it up to you, I promise. You make bandanas for HEB, huh? Alexa doesn't know. Well, if Alexa doesn't know, okay, here's something about it. City of Houston. HEB. See, they just act like everybody should know what the heck that means. Looking at their site, I'm looking at a web page. It's got some stuff about it, a little bit from the city of Houston, and they've got this ad. But it almost makes me wonder if it's not like a food chain or grocery store chain or something. Surely that's not it though. Wow, it's not a very long parade. It looks like it's just it's going that direction. Never mind. I was going to say something that didn't make much sense, and looking at it doesn't make any either. Okay, I don't know, but I know this. I gotta find the show again. Okay. Hey, Philip, welcome in, buddy. Yep, Tina, we got Phil in the show. He may know the answer to all these questions. Phil, do you know what the HEB Thanksgiving Day Parade is in Houston, Texas? Because I sure don't. None of us seem to know. And they don't tell. In this little article, and I've looked up some more, and I'm not finding it anywhere. Phil is freshly arrived back from the Wild Wild West. Phil and Kay know. Wasn't that some game, Dave? I'm not sure much what to think of that. Oh no. Okay, I'm still looking for. Oh, you stopped at HEB Texas grocery store chain. Well, after I stopped and looked at their ads, I realized that's what it kind of looked like. Thank you, Philip. Yeah, Dave, eight overtimes, and that was honestly, I thought they had Georgia beat. I thought Tech had Georgia beat. I thought at the end of the third quarter, I thought this is over. Georgia might as well forget it because Georgia wasn't playing very good football, and Tech's quarterback was just doing everything. I mean, up to that point, it's like he couldn't do any wrong. I mean, Georgia stayed with them, but I mean, close enough that they caught them. They were down 2 touchdowns at some point in the fourth quarter, and they caught up, tied the game, went into overtime, and then won the game in overtime number 8. So then we got the Chicago Thanksgiving Parade. That started during the Great Depression. And the Novant Health Thanksgiving Day Parade, that's in North Carolina. Somebody dinged me, but I don't know who it was. Somebody trying to sell me something. And Macy's Holiday Parade. Now, this is not the same one. This is in Seattle, Washington. And I have to assume it's the same Macy's. So there you go. I never knew that. I didn't know that there was another Macy's parade out in Washington State. Well, I believe that's all of those. And now here I am. Okay, it's okay. I forgive y'all. What is that? Am I still hanging on yet to the wrong thing? You know, I'm expecting Tennessee should beat Vanderbilt. I mean, they should, but it is a rivalry game, and for Vanderbilt, it's a big deal because Tennessee's the kind of team that Vanderbilt, you know, they could beat. They would save up all year. You know, it was almost like that was their big game of the year would be just to beat Tennessee, and they could lose every game. I've seen them lose nearly every game in the season and beat Tennessee at the end of the season, and Tennessee be much better football team. It's just I don't know what it is. Some teams get to a certain game and against a certain team and they just fall apart. So that game starts at noon, and that game could end up being a pretty good game. I have a feeling that Mark's relatives are going to be a lot happier than I am after our big game this afternoon. That's possible. That's possible, Carol. I'm telling you, think about his sisters being that crazy about Ohio State football just makes me giggle because they just don't seem the type. I have a feeling. Oh, that's what you just said. I don't know. Well, I don't know. You might be right this year, Carol. I'm not sure. Michigan has not had the year I thought they would have. I mean, I don't know what did they end up, Carol? Do you know off the top of your head? I mean, one loss. I can't remember that. I mean, they. It's not like they had a losing season, but they did lose more games than I realized. I thought Vanderbilt did beat Alabama and Auburn. Yes, they did, and when they didn't, and I'll guarantee you they weren't expected to. They were really riding the high, but at that point, that quarterback of theirs was just going. He was lights out on everything, and then I can't remember who they played. Somebody, and it just sort of came off the rails this year. I don't know if it was Georgia. Anyway, they've not been quite the same since. So I'm hoping Tennessee can beat them, but we'll see. I don't know, Phil, if you're still in here. I don't Tennessee and Kentucky. I don't know if they ever had. I mean, Tennessee might have. I don't know if we can call them rivals. I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Not equal, certainly. Kentucky's always been a better basketball team than Tennessee, but if Tennessee beat Kentucky, it was always a really big deal and got a lot of attention. But that wasn't necessarily what we expected most of the time. Breaking into this college football conference and bringing an announcement regarding pro football. Bills organization asking fans to come help clear the stove. They're trying. They did that once before last year, I think. South Carolina beat Vanderbilt. Ah, okay. Carol, that's what I thought. They were 5-6 or 6-5. And when I said it in my brain or thought it in my brain, I thought, no, don't say that out loud because surely that's not the case. But I was thinking that too. So way more losses either way, 5 or 6, than I ever thought Michigan would have had. No, it was Dave. Yeah, Teddy, Dave. Teddy doesn't like to come out here. He's not. He still hasn't decided that he likes to be here. He does come out here. I have had him out here. I had him out here a couple of weeks ago, and I still have a little bag of food here for him and a litter box and everything. I mean, I wanted him to be welcome, but he just wasn't sure. I need to get him out here more often. He'd get used to it, and he'd be fine. I bet they. I mean, they seem to not have. Well, let me back up. I'm only aware of them doing that last year. I'm sure but I suspect they've done it for years up there. And I'm guessing that it's always worked for them, or most of the time. But once it made it to TV or whatever last year, they made such a big deal out of it um, that maybe that was the first time they'd ever done it. I miss Teddy out here, Dave. I miss his chair. He doesn't keep me company. I always said when he was out here, and if I was talking to him, people didn't think I was quite as crazy. Now they hear me talking. There's nobody else out here but me. Okay, it was the first. Interesting. Well, they found something that the fans will get into. I wonder if they gave the fans anything like a T-shirt or anything like that. Speaking of missing, where's Brenda? Well, that's a good question, Carol. I started to put out an all points bulletin, and then I remembered that when I left down there this morning, she was barely keeping her head up. So I've got a feeling she fell back to sleep. I tried to talk her into staying up for the show and then taking a nap while I was watching football or something. Well, I take Chuck's knowledge seriously. So if he says it never happened, then I'm going to guess it never happened. So that does explain why they made a big deal out of it last year. Yeah, I think, that's interesting. I wonder, it'd be interesting kind of to know which fan base would and which fan base wouldn't when it comes to college ball. I think a lot of them would, but I just wonder, some might not. Oops. I don't know if I kept this open. Let me look real quick. There was another thing I had that I thought might be interesting. Well, it was a carryover from week before last. Oh, not that. I also had some stuff on World War II open I was looking into. Okay. Well, after our conversation last week, of course, I'm still searching for, well, I'm not actively at the moment. I'm probably not spending the money, but Brenda's asleep, so don't mention it to her. Yeah, we wouldn't think anything of it, just part of living here. Um, I was talking about Ernest Thompson Seton. Well, for years I've looked for books. Obviously, some years more actively than others, but I'm always kind of got my eye open for them. And since the girls got into the auction business, I've paid more attention to their kind of local auctions. But since I've been looking, I just can't. There's all these books that popped up now. People are, my analog, my not analog. Oh, what's it called? Algorithm is apparently kicking into gear, and they know this guy's been looking for ETS books, and there's some interesting things in here for sale. Let's see, what are they calling that? Ernest Thompson Seton's America. If that's his autograph, I'd love to have that. Or maybe that's just how the books. It doesn't give any information about that. These are all reprints of his books down here at the bottom. Well, the one with the caribou on it and the animal drawings, some of those are his, but some of them are not even his drawings. So anyway, I just get all this stuff and I'm just, fascinated by it. And I like to, this is one of the thrift books people or whoever I'm not sure who these guys work through I think they work through several that use book dealers, but I've gotten a couple books from them and I'd like to get a couple more. See, they've got some of the newer issued books. This Wob is not very old. The Two Little Savages is Mark's got 2 or 3 copies of this for his grandkids. But some of these I'd like to get my hands on, especially some of his drawings on them. That would be cool. But you know, I don't write in my books. I mean, I've said before, books are sacred, and I just try not to abuse them. But when I get one that's got a lot of notes in it from the original owner, or if it happened to be from the author, that'd be better. But and I have found that I find it kind of interesting what people would write in a book. Yeah, they do, Carol. They've got some, and like I said, I think you could go in here and pick out a book and find out that it came from Abe's used books. And Abe's is another one of my favorite used bookstores. Here they are, Abe Books. Oh, I'd like to have that drawing. Look at that mountain line. Lives of game animals, an account of those land animals in America north of the Mexican border, which are considered game either because they have held the attention of sportsmen or received the protection law, in 4 volumes with 50 maps and 1,500 illustrations by the author. Oh my God, I'd like to have that. And it's $4,000. Never mind. Oh wait, though, here's one for just $3. But Abe's has some neat stuff too, or Abe Books. I always thought it was 2 words, Abe Books, so maybe it is. So maybe Abe's Possessive would be appropriate. My dad always wrote his name and the date inside his best books. I've got a stamp. I've done that, and I've got a stamp that says from the library of Tim Pruitt. I got that a long time ago. I don't know if I bought it or Brenda got it for me or what, but I've had it. And I used to stamp my books and then I let my ink pad dry up and I'd quit doing it. So I haven't done that in a while. I actually thought about going back and stamping all my books. My niece has gotten into restoring books. In fact, that is what she wants for Christmas, old books. Now, that's interesting, Kate, because I've been thinking about looking into that too, just so I can repair, not professionally, but so I can repair some of mine. Some of my Seton books are starting to get kind of flaky, and the bindings almost always come loose on old books. And I'd love to be able to go in there and fix that and know what I'm doing. I don't know if Phil's still here again, but his sister's a librarian. I don't know why, but for some reason I think she's had classes in restoring books, but I could be wrong about that. So far, my whole acquisition for restoring books, I bought some special cleaner and what they call an eraser, book cover eraser, or it's kind of a scrub pad that's made to clean old, like fabric covered books or the older style. Like I have somewhere here. And so I was going to try to clean some of mine a little bit so you could see. A lot of those old Seton books have beautiful embossings and things on them. I'd love to be able to, clean something like that up. Just so nothing else, just so if somebody looked at it, they could appreciate the art that came. I mean, because they didn't just slap a cover on something and ship it out the door. Maybe wrap a book cover around it later that tells the title and all that. I mean, I guess maybe they looked at it like book covers needed to be advertising so they would sell. I don't know, help sell the book. But a lot of these old Seton books are like that. They're heavily embossed, and like here's one. I don't know if we can get this big enough to see it or not. Trading Eagles. Oh, come on. You can do better than that. Well, that one's not going to play ball. Here's actually one. Here's a good one. This is not, I don't know if this is the first edition, but this Lives of the Hunted is really not letting me open that. That's in an Etsy book. Yeah, there we go. That one. I mean, it's got this. I don't know if it's gilding, but it's got this gold print of these hooves, and then in here, and it's. I don't know. They're just neat. I think another reason I like not just his books, but other people's books too, old books. I just like the way they were made. I mean, look at the cover sheet. Look at the information there. Anyway, time is it? It's 11:30. Man, I've kept you guys here this long and without a good topic this day. Anyhow, let me find myself here. Oh, that'd be cool, Kay. Oh, I saw somebody out the door. Could you read that book on that site, Tim? It looks like you could. Oh, the one I just showed, it did have a lot of pages printed in there showing. I don't know. I noticed that too, but I didn't think about it like you're saying it. I thought, wow, they're copying a lot of pages for this. Looked like you could have maybe got through it, part of it anyway. I closed that page. All right, open it back up, Tina. Let me see if I have that on. Maybe I've got it. I got it. I found it. Cool. Okay, now I lost us. There we go. Couldn't hear you. No problem. I was just wondering. Well, I went back and looked, and they had about 5 or 6 pages, and then they stopped and just showed the back cover inside and out. So no, I guess you couldn't read the whole thing. So did I have? Let me see if I had. I know what I was going to say. And the reason I had the books was I also had I must have closed that. I had a page. Yeah, I had some more information about one of his daughters and the things that she had done and what she was responsible for. She, I think maybe even before her father passed, his daughter was given or she inherited what they call Seton Castle, which was the house they lived in for a while or several years, or I think that's where he died in New Mexico. And his daughter took it over, and then I believe she gave it to her daughter. Eventually, it started falling down around everybody's ears, and they have been somehow but they got together. They've created a foundation that's trying to save it, and it's been rebuilding it for some few years now, I guess. I'm not sure. I didn't look up all the details. But I thought that was interesting. There was a whole lot more about what things that she did that she, because of the influence of her father. And she also was pretty interesting, I think. Different but interesting. And I also discovered this, what I'm going to call new to me and maybe not to anybody else, bow. These bow makers called let's see here. Let me get it right. Because that's right there. I don't think that's correct. Robertson stick bows. Yes, that's it. Robertson. And they make some really cool bows, and they make a takedown bow. And by takedown, I mean it easily comes apart and goes back together. They've got a cool system for making that joint and doing that takedown. And man, I'd like to try one. I'd like to shoot one with this and see how it feels. Because it looks to me like it could affect how the bow feels in your hand. And I can't really explain that. We'll just have to know it. Let me see if I can. I'm going to put that over here and I'm going to show it again. Last thing I'm going to present today. This won't mean anything to anybody else, but this is the top half of the bow and this is the bottom half. And you slide this socket down over the pin and then twist it probably a quarter of a turn and it locks it into place. And I couldn't get any simpler than that. I really like that. I think that's cool. But like I said, there's something about a solid steel pin right in the middle of your bow handle that makes me wonder if it wouldn't flex in your hand or something. Anyway, I thought that was cool. I'll stop sharing that. Bring that back over here so I don't lose it. Oh, me. And I lost you over here. There we go. Which link, Tina? The one with the bow. I'm going to discuss it with him because I don't know if he's ever made it. No, he did. He just made a takedown for himself. That's what he took to Africa. I need to show him that. How many screens do you have in front of you, Tim? 2. That's probably why I'm confused then. And then on top of that, I had 2 or 3 windows open in each one of the windows, the screens. Just me being me. Brenda would tell you that has something to do with me always having too much going on. Or in front of me all the time, but that's not true. I mean, I just have like 2 monitors. I don't think I'd want more than 3, maybe 4. No, I think 2's about enough, actually. I'm sure I could come up with a reason for needing a 3rd one. I mean, I could say something like, and mean it sincerely. But, it would be nice sometimes when I'm working with a map that I could put the map up here and leave it. Because now what I do is I end up usually dragging something over and covering it up while I'm doing something and having to dig through my pile again to find it. So over there, it could just be open, but I'm sure that what would happen was pretty soon I'd be adding something to that screen. And then I'd want another screen. I think that's what Brenda would say anyway. I managed to go almost the whole show here and not get so cottonmouth now, suddenly. And I know coffee doesn't help cottonmouth. Well, I wish Mark had made it in today, but I don't know this for a fact, but the last thing he mentioned to me was that he thought that he and the boys were going to drive up on the mountain and get a Christmas tree. They've got a piece of property up there that they can go to that they have permission to get a tree on every year. And they hunt up there too sometimes. But yeah, I think it belongs to the lady or the people that he had been working for all those. When he talked about going out and actually working cattle on his horse, that's usually who he did it with. It doesn't hurt it, and coffee is just a fixer of all things. That's true. That's true, Tina. That's well said. A fixer of all things. I need to remember that. Which means I probably should write it down. But I may not be able to. That hand don't want to cooperate so well. Coffee. The fixer of all things. Now, Tina, is that a direct quote from you, or did you borrow that from somebody? And I'm only asking because I don't want to, give credit to the wrong person. Fixer of all things. That's great that Mark and his career cut. Yeah, they do that every year, and sometimes they wait till later in the day though, and he wasn't sure. But the truth is, I haven't spoken to him all week, so I don't know. His communications may be down or somewhat down. I know Caitlin's been posting stuff, and some of you have commented on her photographs. I hope that girl I'd like to think about her getting a really better camera than what she's using now and got, because if she had different lenses, the opportunity to use different lenses and things like that, I think she could be really good. Pick it up. I don't think so, but I can't remember. And I'm not usually very witty, so it probably is somebody else's. Okay, well, I'll put it down as unknown then. How about that? Or I could put it down as Tina says it's the author unknown or something like that. Or maybe it's something that's just in the modern lexicon that I don't have to even worry about anymore. Quoting it. Who knows? Let's see. What else can we talk about here before I wrap things up? I won't keep people long today. It's late today because it's football time. And it's getting close to being football time here, so I will be watching the game. At least I think I will be. No, I will be. I'm not I'm not one of those kind of guys that gets up and leaves just because they're losing. That'll work just unknown because saying Tina said it's unknown takes too long. Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not important, Tina. And I did get it from you, so. Yeah, Dave, Tennessee and Vandy for me. But I wish I could watch the Michigan Ohio State game because despite Miss Carroll's fear that they're going to get clobbered, she's a Michigan fan. I don't know. I think they'll rise up and it'll be a good game because it's Ohio State, but you never know. I think Phil would say that Ohio State always finds a way to lose against Michigan or something to that effect. So, important games for you guys is that Indiana U versus Purdue and FSU versus Florida. I forgot about Florida State and Florida playing today. So those games, you need those games to go which way. IU lose, and who has to lose on or win on that Florida game, Dave? I heard him talking about that a little bit last night, but I didn't pick up on who. I didn't pick up on all the details of that. I mean, what I heard him talk about was what it would take to get Georgia into the. What I'm talking about, and I think Dave was referring to, is for Georgia to make it into the top 12 playoff position. They either need to win the SEC championship next week, which they'll be playing against Ole Miss, or other teams need to lose. Oh, you went to did you now? What gives you another reason to root for Purdue then? So all those games are at noon, Dave. Because see, Tennessee plays Vanderbilt at noon, and that's Michigan and Ohio State is at noon, and what I'm hearing you say, some of these others may be early afternoon games also. I do know there's some late night games or late, night games because ESPN and ABC, of course, were advertising last night during the Georgia game that they were going to be showing 3 SEC games today: Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and then I can't remember. And same to you, Carol. And Dave, I did go to UT, or University of Tennessee in this case. But I did. That's the last game of the day. That's the last game they're going to show is Texas versus Texas State, or no, A&M, because whoever wins that game, whoever wins that game is in the championship game, right, Dave? Against Georgia. Those 2 games are at 7. Okay, so they're going to be right in the middle of something else. Yes, good luck to all the teams. Big rivalries today. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Even Tennessee and Vanderbilt is a big rivalry that I, even growing up here, I didn't understand. And what I was going to say about UT fan is I grew up in a family that was football oriented, and we were University of Tennessee fans from the get go. And my grandparents used to go to games a lot. They used to have season tickets, in fact, to Tennessee's games. Now, these days, you can't afford, they couldn't afford to buy the ticket like that, but not an annual pass, I don't think. But anyway, they had receipts for every game, and went until they couldn't anymore. So anyway, I grew up watching the University of Tennessee football and basketball, which I never liked basketball. I don't care who was playing it. So, but I sure enjoy the football. Well, guys, I tell you what, dude, it is 15 till. I think I'm going to shut down a few minutes early, and so I can get my TV tuned in, up and tuned in, and maybe even get my couch prepared over here so I can lay down and watch a football game for a while. I have to be careful if I do that. I could fall asleep too. I hadn't got much sleep this week. But I hope everybody has a great Saturday, a good weekend. Maple Bacon, I thought you might have left. You got quiet. I mean, I was going to call you the other day, and I thought, man, I hadn't talked to Mike. I need to give him a call. But I didn't get around. Obviously, I didn't get to it. So sorry. Maybe this week. Well, Mike, I think you guys win the low temperature of the weekend contest, so you guys need to be careful. Stay warm. And if you get out there, dress for it. Dave, did I ever mention that the first Michigan game I ever attended was against Purdue? And the first Pistons game I ever attended was versus the Pacers in Indiana. So did that make Purdue and Michigan a rivalry in your mind, or Purdue an enemy at least, Carol? That first game. Thank you. I know that, Mike, and I just didn't because I wasn't, partly because I wasn't out here just sitting with the phone. And but anyway, I'll do it this week. I'll remember, or you can call. Well, you can call me, but I don't hear it ring for some reason. I got to figure out how to work that. I got to figure out why I don't get alerts and things when I'm using that system. Purdue is not much of a game for Michigan for most of the years. Well, that's what I kind of thought too, Dave. At least for most of the time. Yeah, how's the new job going, Mike? No, is it, Kay? Well, we're testing out our heater here. First winter. But, I guess we'll see. I don't know what, I haven't looked at long-term forecasts this year. I don't know what kind of winter we're supposed to have. I just hope it's not too bad. We probably need to lay in some more supplies just in case we do get snowed in or something. Yeah, Dave, she's kind of down on Michigan at the moment. They've had kind of a rough year. So, she thinks Purdue would handle them. And you stay warm too, Kay. It was down in the 20s down there today, so I don't know what it's supposed to do next week. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do a quick weather check before I sign off. And as Tina says, we leave the campfire here. Because I just had that open. Let me see if I've got. Okay, they're predicting it to be down in the low 20s and mid 30s at the high. So 22 by Monday morning, 21 Tuesday morning, 22 Wednesday morning, and then it's supposed to warm back up and then drop. Oh, and then down Friday it's supposed to be 20 here, 25. We're in for a cold. We're in for. Looks like we might be in for a week or two. Low 20s temperatures anyway for lows. Well, I guess we'll just have to keep running the heater. Yeah, they ought to, shouldn't they, Carol? I didn't even think about that earlier. I just set that down there. I doubt it. I wouldn't count on it. I can brag about it today. I've enjoyed this cup. It's something else I've had trouble enjoying for the last couple of months, and that's coffee. Jeepers, it's supposed to be 22 here on Friday. We're having a heat wave warmer than Tennessee. Well, you'll have it that way down here sometimes. Our altitude helps a little bit. Of course, I don't know what your elevation is. You guys may be higher than I think. All right, guys. I think it's time to just. I'll kick the fire up before I go to bed and curl up by it here. Bears like to lay by the fire, just so everybody knows. But anyway, guys, I'll plan on seeing you here next weekend. I'm sure Mark will be back. I don't know if he's got any plans that weekend. And we'll cuddle up. It sounds like we'll have to cuddle up by the fire to stay warm. Our altitude is pretty high too. We're in the foot. That's why I backed up, Tina. I started to say you guys are probably higher than I thought because I figured you were in the foothills. So everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for putting up with my lack of coherentness, or at least a steady chain of thought today. Since I didn't have a story to tell. Well, I've always got a story to tell, but you know what I mean. So next week I'll try to do better. So everybody be safe. We'll see you again here next week. Mike, that includes you. You behave yourself. And I will see. And Dave, thanks for coming by. I'll probably be pulling for Georgia by next weekend too. So, but anyway, everybody have a good weekend. Like I said, I'll see you next week. So bye-bye. That is if I can find the end the stream button, which I'm not always good at doing. And then I